Um, step right in here. This is what I have built up so far. I'm going to be quiet for just a second. Now, if you can hear those tones, that's actually being produced by this. This is an altar. And the altar is producing those tones. I think the plan for what Tug's going to do is everything in game is going to make its own type of tone or sound, and all of those tones and sounds are supposed to come together comfortably, so that if you have the world where it's empty, you're just going to hear like you can hear now with the wind blowing through the trees or whatever it may be. But whenever you have things like the altar, some birds around, possibly other in-game items, they'll make tones and sounds, and those will all come together to make a cohesive, kind of like a background music. So it's a pretty interesting way for them to go about it. Right now, we've got this cobblestone foundation, stone bricks making up the pillars and the walls. We've got some torches in here for light, ash wood for the columns, and I've tried to use a lot of texture in my building to try to really test out this lighting engine. It's not perfect, that's for sure, but it's not bad. I'd like to see a little bit more shading in here. See, this is actually a corner here, and it kind of gets lost in translation. You don't really notice it too much. So a little bit more shading would be nice, but other than that, I think the game looks great, especially for being as early on as it really is. So, also, if you're in creative mode like this and you want to fly, you can do that by double tapping spacebar. You hold spacebar to go up, and to go back down you need to look down and push W or forward. I think it would be nice if we could actually just hold shift to go down, spacebar up, shift to go down. It makes the movement a little bit more individualized, but it's not in yet. So I'm going to be quiet one more time. And if you notice, the ambient sound of this area has changed. That has happened because we're actually moving into the night cycle now. So, moving into the night cycle, it gets very eerie. And to be quite honest with you, if we didn't have these torches and things around, it would get so dark you wouldn't be able to see anything. So I'm going to go ahead and set the time back to day. To go ahead and call up the last command that you put in, just hit enter and then push up on your up arrows, and it'll go up to your last command that you entered in. And you can just hit enter again, and there you go, you're right back to where you needed to be. What I've done today is I finished off the roof of this section of the entrance to this temple, I guess, area that I'm building, and I'm just using some of the available in-game items as some detail work to put into the temple. So these here that look like dragon heads are actually anvils. They're stone anvils. We're not 100% sure what those are going to be used for in game, but they're still here. So I went ahead and used them as just a little bit of accent on this rooftop. I'm gonna come down here. I'm just really annoyed by that bleeding texture, but I know it's going to be fixed. I did my best to try to keep that bleeding texture from happening, but you know, with some just block placement tricks, but that's about as good as it's going to get. So let's just go ahead and let's work on this path a little bit more here. So I'm going to kind of follow the natural lay of the land. And if you notice, let's see if I can get a good shot of this. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and now if you see that there, okay, I've got that selected, but that's not a full block. See, that's not like this here, and that's because the rendering engine has smoothed that all over. So that's what you can kind of expect to kind of get whenever you get the control of being able to smooth things out in game as well, is be able to do that. So see, I just took that top part off. The rendering engine again has smoothed it down to the top of the next block, which is the one we have highlighted now, and then we're going to remove that, and now we've got our cutaway square. But I can't wait. It would be really nice to be able to come in here and really smooth out some of this building and get rid of these boxy edges. I think it looks pretty good, but it would definitely look a lot more natural if I could kind of smooth those edges out. Again, we're just highlighting the square that we want to interact with. Left clicking will remove that square. Let's see if we can. And if you notice, the grass kind of flies up whenever I break the grass blocks, and here you break the gravel blocks, and you know, and the particle effect is a little bit different. So that's pretty interesting as well. Just kind of clicking away here. I find that if you're really wanting some randomness in what you're doing, especially when you're making a gravel path, it's just kind of just go wild. Kind of click away at it, and you'll get a lot of randomness to it. Now, there's a little gully here. I'm gonna actually use that to my advantage. Try to smooth my way into that. And I'm going to go ahead and remove all of this out, even though we'll probably come back and put some of this grass and dirt back in, just to give the path a more natural looking used texture to it. Alright. Also, if you're flying and you want to not be flying, just double tap space again, and thump, you'll fall right down. No fall damage right now. I don't think there would be any fall damage in creative mode anyway, but no fall damage at the moment. Now, there's definitely a little bit of a terrain level change, which is okay. I don't mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and smooth this out so that whenever I place the gravel in, it will hopefully smooth itself. Let's see. Again, right-clicking to place those blocks down. There we go. See, I misplaced that block. We'll take it back up. And let's just put this all down like that. Okay, we're not going to get what I exactly wanted. I was really hoping that it would kind of smooth this all out. Not sure why I thought it would, but the texture smoothing is great. I like the bleed on the gravel. It's just some of the other blocks that maybe they could just take that off so it just didn't. Not every block had the bleed capability. I don't know. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and place this gravel. It's very blocky right now. It's kind of annoying, but that's all gonna change. I know that is in the works, but some of this stuff is they'd rather work on optimization right now than, you know, I'd rather optimize your ability to put down square blocks rather than have you be able to manipulate square blocks into round ones, but the frame rates be terrible and things of that line. So I completely understand their thought process. Here we go, we've kind of moved into night again. I don't know if you can hear how the ambient sound has changed. Go ahead and finish up this section of the path. But this is what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be finishing up this temple area here. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comments section, and I will read over them. If you have any questions, also just leave those in the comment section too, and I'll try to answer them there. And then what I'll do is before I record tomorrow, I will see what comments and questions have been put down, and then I'll address those in my recording that I do the next time. Obviously there's not going to be a lot of time in between my recordings though, so if your question doesn't get answered, it's not because I didn't want to answer it, it's just probably because you posted it after I had already started recording this next section. So okay, well, that's the introduction to my series on Tug. We worked on this path a little bit here to start leading it back towards the to the spawn area. We saw how you can interact with the blocks. We've seen some of the quirks that are still going on with the textures on the blocks. We've went over some of the sound and the command lines. So if you're enjoying this series, please stay tuned, because I will be putting out multiple videos on Tug, and like I said, I'm going to focus as much as I can on building, because that is what I am most intrigued with right now with Tug, and we'll see what all we can put together and how we can use these tools. The next video we're going to go over these. If you can see above my inventory there, we have these different shapes: a cube, an arrow, a set of 4 arrows, a curled arrow. Those are all controls for manipulating actual items in game. whenever you're in creative mode. And I'll show you what all those tools do, how to use them, and how I've used them in my build. So until then, I'll see you guys next time.